Alright, today we're going to take a look at a vintage MRE. And the first thing I want to mention is that this one actually has a lot of personal meaning for me. It's kind of a special one, but I realize a lot of people are here to see an MRE review and not a personal history. So this is going to be the short version. If you're interested in hearing more about this, you can check out the long version. I'll put a link to it down below. As I said, this is a vintage MRE. You can see it's an old brown bag one. Brown bag era is from 1981 through 1995. And this one is, I don't know how well you can read this, but this one is menu number 7. Turkey diced with gravy, and menu number 7 was turkey diced with gravy from 1981 through 1987. So obviously there's no date code on here, but we know that it's from somewhere between 81 and 87. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and find out exactly when it was from. I'm going to open this one from the back. I guess first we'll check and see if we can date this. So actually, as the first hint, we do have the old white spoon, the same that they had in the sea rations, and these did carry over with the early MREs. And here is our turkey diced with gravy. And there's the ingredients. And okay, good. I didn't see any date code, but here it is right here. It looks like 1203, but that means this was packed on the 203rd day of 1981. Actually from the first year of production. We also have a freeze-dried component here. This is, it's a potato patty. And we have a maple nut cake. There's accessory packet A with coffee, cream substitute, sugar, salt, chewing gum, matches, and toilet paper. And we have, this is a beverage-based powder, type 1 fortified. And finally we have crackers. And for the crackers we have grape jelly. Alright, and here are all the components in this menu number 7 turkey diced with gravy from 1981. It's a pretty typical meal from that era. You can see there aren't tons of components in here. And we'll take a look inside of here at the components of the accessory pack. So we have the toilet paper, we have the coffee instant type 1, and we have non-dairy cream substitute for that, and sugar. We also have salt, some of the original MRE matches, and this really cool pack of Beachy's spearmint gum. Alright, let's check it out and see if we can eat anything from this meal from about 37 years ago. I'm going to start with these crackers, and because of the fact that it seems like it may have been compromised, I'm going to open this from the back and actually see if I can hear a little hiss out of this. Did not hear any hiss at all. Obviously not a great sign. Okay, yeah, I think these are bad. That's an odd smell. I don't think I'm going to be able to eat these, unfortunately. And it's really unfortunate because I really love these early crackers. These are the ones... No, these aren't. That's weird. These look more like the modern ones. Yeah, that's amazing. I've never gotten bad crackers before. This is the first time. That is actually quite unfortunate. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to leave these out here. They're really pretty bad. But if nothing else, we could at least take a look at the grape jelly on there. Even if I'm not going to eat any of that. Oh, these crackers are going to be hard. It's going to be hard to judge some of the other stuff. Just because the crackers are so bad. Let's see if this is just turned to a complete liquid. It doesn't look too bad. I just had a little taste of that. I think it is starting to ferment a little bit. It still tastes like grape jelly, though. Yeah, that probably would be somewhat edible. Not anymore now that I put it on those crackers. Alright, I'm going to go right to the dessert with the maple nut cake. The nuts do not last very well. They become rancid and inedible. And this appears to be glued onto the box, as these old ones frequently were. I've never really understood why, but they did do that. There's the glue right there. And here is maple nut cake. I'm going to move these away just because that smell is really not good. Let's check out the maple nut cake. It smells good. It smells like the old nut cakes. It's kind of a little flashback seeing this and feeling it too, with that sort of oily residue that's on it. It's not as shiny as I expected it to be. And you can see the nuts are dark, but they're always kind of dark. I mean, they're probably bad. But I'm not really smelling anything to indicate that. I'll check out the potato patty. It does not seem to be vacuum sealed very well, which is quite unfortunate because I was thinking that this would most likely be one of the things in here that would be edible, and it does not appear that it will be. But let's check it out. It has the little plastic bag inside, which is very oily, and it smells like an old out-of-business convenience store in the 70s. That has an odd smell to it. There's something almost potatoey about it. There's definitely something musty and off to it. Doesn't look too bad. Just that unfortunately doesn't smell too good. But at least it looks good. It'll be good for visual documentation anyway. But we'll take a look at the coffee and the cocoa powder and hope that maybe one of these will be something we can drink. This is the Coffee Instant Type 1. Actually smells pretty good. Put the sugar in there. And the creamer. Which also looks fine, and it has even stronger evidence of that gum smell to it. It smells pretty good. And now the cocoa beverage powder. I usually like to have my cocoa beverage powders cold, but since we do have the hot water here, and since I don't know if I'll even be able to drink it anyway, let's try it like this. Alright, it does still seem to be in powder form, which is a great sign. And it smells like cocoa beverage powder. It does seem to be caked up a bit here. It's quite caked up there. Let's hope it'll break up in the water. Wow. Like a beef bouillon cube or something. Certainly looks like cocoa. Alright, and that just leaves us with our turkey diced with gravy. Oh, this one wasn't glued in. Here's our 5-ounce entree. This feels pretty good in here. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's turned to a complete liquid, and it also doesn't feel like it's really solidified with age. But I'm just going to go ahead and heat this up a little bit, just to, you know, make it seem as appealing as possible. Alright, and now it is time for our turkey diced with gravy. It may not be edible, but at least it's hot. And this is a dish that I haven't had since the 1980s. Wow, I'm surprised to say this, but it actually smells good. It smells like turkey. And it definitely smells like how I remember this smelling. Let's see how it looks. Not only have I not eaten this since the 1980s, I don't think I've ever had it hot. Alright, so I guess now is basically the moment of truth, where we find out if anything here is actually edible. If nothing else, it gives you an appreciation for how much MREs really have improved over the years, but this really wouldn't have been a bad thing to eat back in 1981. I am going to try some of this turkey, because it smells just fine. So I'm hoping that it actually is. I'll chew it up a little before I swallow it, though. Yeah, that seems to be just fine. They weren't all that great at processing it back then, and you'd get some little gristly parts like that. But it actually does seem to be, knock on wood, somewhat edible, which is amazing. Something 37 years old. It still tastes like turkey. I'm trying to think if this is an aftertaste. Doesn't really even have that metallic taste or aftertaste you expect. Wow, that's I'm very impressed. And now, as I said, the potato patty, it looks, I don't know if some air got in there or what, but it seems like the vacuum seal was a bit compromised. And the smell is definitely a little bit off. Let me just try a little teeny. It's still crunchy. It's not completely crunchy though, it has a bit of a staleness to it. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. Oh, here we are. I'm getting some reaction in my throat. And we're not going to eat any more of that one. Not exactly sure what that is, but something in it's giving me a bit of an aftertaste, and I do not want to get sick off of this. We know that the crackers are no good. They're bleached out, which is unfortunate, and unfortunately it's also affecting everything else here. The smell of it is giving me a headache, to be quite honest. Like I said, visually this is a pretty great thing to see. This is pretty much exactly what it would look like in 1981. And unfortunately, or actually I should say fortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision, so you can't smell what I'm smelling here. So as I said, the crackers are definitely bad, but the jelly didn't seem to be completely bad. So I'm going to put a little bit on a Ritz cracker and just give that a fair shake. It doesn't look too bad. It's still kind of purple. It's not black or anything. Let me try that. It still tastes like grape jelly. Seems to taste just fine. Looks like that survived. The turkey seems to have survived, and the grape jelly seems to have survived. I'll try some of this coffee. That's just fine too. Doesn't seem to have any metallic taste to that. So far nothing in here has actually had that metallic taste. That must be something that has to do with how things are stored. Because you can't get much older than this. But yet I don't really have that metallic taste or aftertaste that you sometimes get from these kind of things. And you know what? These nuts actually don't look... They're dark, but they're not black. And it smells like basically like a fruitcake kind of thing. It has that maple smell to it. And I think I'm going to give it a little try. This is kind of Steve 1989 territory. You really shouldn't mess with nuts that are this old. But you can at least try it. Tastes fine. This seems to be okay. It would be really kind of cool in a nostalgic way to eat this whole thing, but I don't think it would be a very good idea. Digestively, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, we have a few pretty good components here so far. I did want to try the cocoa beverage. Let me give this a little taste. That I think is okay. It has an interesting bit of a taste / aftertaste where it's kind of this could be a little bit metallic. It has a little bit of a plastic kind of taste to it. It's sort of like having a waxy chocolate, or probably more specifically having really old chocolate, which obviously is what it is. And that's not very pleasant. But I guess we just tasted everything that we could from this. Thank you for watching.